Hey family, welcome to Phie.Love Intuitive Conversations. If you like my content, I'd appreciate if you would like, share and subscribe and help me get my content out there. Any negativity, any hate, keep it on your side of the street. It will not be acknowledged. Okay? Cool. So in this video, oh, there's a muzzy over here. I don't like mosquitoes. Who does? Anyway, sorry. In today's video, I would like to talk about how do you deal or handle your relationship with shame. What do you mean? What do I mean? Let's first look into what the definition of shame is, or what is shame. Shame is to believe that something about you is wrong, whereas guilt is feeling bad about something you've done wrong. I'm talking about shame, where you believe that there's something about you that is wrong. There's a lot of scenarios that I could point out, or that you could think of, that can, especially in the society we live in, right, that can evoke the feeling of shame, consciously or unconsciously. And if you're not somebody who is confident enough or fearless enough to face yourself, your shadow side, and things about yourself that you might perceive or think the outside world would label you as wrong, what do you do with all of that stuff inside yourself that you think is wrong? Do you shove it down somewhere and just become a antsy hot potato every time somebody says something or does something that might touch on that shame that you've decided to ignore? Become snappy to the point that you don't even know anymore why you become snappy, but there are shame issues within yourself that you chose not to deal with or face because you equated that shame to embarrassment. You have an ego that tells you what is wrong with you is not wrong with you, because having to admit maybe that you feel shame on something means having to admit that your perception of your ego does not measure up to what you really think it is. How is your relationship within yourself regarding shame? What is your relationship with shame? Do you make other people feel shameful? Put other people in positions of shame when scenarios or situations come up in your life that might reveal your shame? Are you able to point out in your life when you do experience things like shame, or when shame comes about? Do you quickly do what you can within yourself to cover that up and overcompensate in another area of your life, instead of maybe choosing to take a time out, sit down and ask yourself, is my reason for feeling shame over something realistic? Is it a true reflection of me being grounded in reality, or Is it again a reflection of me measuring myself up to some bullshit societal standard? Am I aware of my triggers when people come too close to the things I feel shameful about myself? When they come too close to it, do I snap? Do I become nasty? Do I retaliate? Do I divert? Do I immediately jump and try to let the next person feel like they should be feeling shameful? What is your relationship with shame? And if there are times in your life where you feel you're becoming snappy over small things, could it be that you've maybe covered up some sort of internal shame within yourself that you don't want to acknowledge? That you've at some point or another in your life had to experience, or were in a position that made you feel for an extended period of time or for a split second of time some sort of shame? Because the moment you go into shame, there's a portion of yourself that you automatically no longer accept. What is your relationship with shame? Can you imagine the kind of shame drug addicts walk around feeling the whole time? Because they're existing in a society that expects them to feel shameful for having something like an addiction. Other people say it's a disease that they're battling with, or maybe got stuck in because of some form of peer pressure at some point in their lives, or whatever it might be. How do you handle shame? And where is your inability to deal with the shame you experience, feel, go through, or hide in your life, affecting you, how you perceive the world, how you receive the world, and your relationships? Are you able to pinpoint when something makes you feel shameful? Or do you explain that away to embarrassment? Because there's a big difference in the intensity of those two. Are you able to tell the difference? Do you allow your moments of embarrassment to build and compound? And maybe because you're not dealing with other areas within yourself that have caused you to feel shame, or that you harbor because of shame you've inflicted on yourself. Do you allow areas in your life where that embarrassment triggers it all the time? How is your shame affecting your self-image? How is your idea of shame and what you think the world expects you to feel shameful about affecting the way you perform in your life? The types of people you attract into your life who help you maybe not deal with things you feel shameful about or want to acknowledge. Are there issues in your life you choose not to deal with because they bring you shame? Or because society has blown the "you are wrong" bubble up so much that facing it becomes so hard. You would rather stuff it down somewhere. People who suppress all their shame over time seem to develop a very hard exterior, or they become extremely insecure. And I guess in every individual and in every personality type, that sort of manifests in the outside world in its own way. But how are we dealing with the things that make us feel shame? And the things that we allow ourselves to feel shame over, are they grounded in reality? Or do they come from things that the external has implanted into us to deliberately make our lives more difficult and mess with the flow of us moving forward easily? I will talk more about this again at some point in the future. I'd like to read a page out of, I got this as a gift from someone a very long time ago, and I've always cherished it. It's the Little Book of Wisdom by the Dalai Lama, and I want to read a page out of it today, see what comes. We have tolerance that I'll read on today. Practitioners of different faiths should realize that each religious tradition has immense intrinsic value as a means for providing mental and spiritual health. I think it's a little bit interesting that this came up, especially the mention of religion, because I think in our society, I'm not Christian, I believe in God, I believe in spirit, I connect with a higher force and energy out there in the way that works for me. Although I was raised in the Anglican Church growing up with my mother, she's actually Lutheran. I think religion in our society plays a very, very big role in how people deal with shame, and also why they deal with shame and self-judgment to ridiculous degrees. A lot of it, I believe, stems from religion. But again, that is definitely something that is each to their own. And as I said, I think when it comes to this shame topic, I do definitely want to go a little deeper into it at some point. I think I'll pull one more card from the Ask Your Guides book by Sonia Choquette. Again, if I'm not pronouncing it right, I apologize. Let's see what Spirit has to bring through to us in from this deck, if there's anything at all for somebody to resonate with who's watching the video, and maybe even support our conversation regarding shame. Despair comes out from the natural spirits. Let's see what the book has to say about despair. Maybe someone who's going to watch this video will need to hear this message about despair. Let's see what comes out. 29. Despair, natural spirits. Despondency, desperation, torment, apprehension. I do think those words also very much tie into certain experiences of shame that one can go through. Whether you call it a bad mood, whether you call it a bad mood, a bad day, or even a bad life, a feeling of complete desolation and despair has you in its grip. All seems bleak. This isn't to suggest that your feelings of hopelessness are without cause. Genuinely, difficult situations may be causing true anxiety, but it's more likely that your fears are exaggerating things way out of proportion. Fortunately, your nature spirits are on hand, luring you out of your inner despair and rerouting your attention back to nature. They urge you to stop dwelling on problems for the time being and go outside. Breathe the air, smell the grass, take a walk, notice the wind, come back to earth, back to the moment, back to the beauty and bounty your divine mother offers. If you're feeling trapped in an emotional maze of fear and drama, your only way back to balance and clarity is to get grounded in the moment and return to the natural world. Let your nature spirits lead you to Mother Earth, and she will calm and comfort your soul. The message for you is get back to nature. I hope this video and the cards have resonated with someone, and that it also encourages us to take a deeper look and do a bit of shadow work into what our relationship with shame is and how we and how we deal with our experiences of shame, and how we project our shame, as well as gossiping, as trying to make someone else feel less than, as trying to maybe make someone else seem like they are in a position that otherwise helps us believe that it contradicts the shame that we feel in certain instances within ourselves. So yeah, thank you for sharing your energy and your time with me. I do hope that you like, share, and subscribe and help get my content out there. I appreciate you all so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.